So, this looks not good, really. It's not every day I come across something that makes me go, what the heck did I just see? But the Comic-Con trailer for HBO's Watchmen series certainly does qualify. It just hit the internet and, well, I'm not entirely sure what the heck I just saw. Now look, I'm not one of those people who thinks that the original Watchmen graphic novel is an untouchable classic. I like it a lot. I know the impact it had on the industry, but I don't necessarily think that makes it somehow an untouchable piece of art. It's as open to interpretation and reinterpretation and adaptation as any other work is. However, I do feel like making a sequel to Watchmen is sorely missing the point. It's weird enough that we got prequels, in the comics that is, but then again, you could make an argument for expanding on the backstory, but the sequel idea, I don't know, making a sequel to Watchmen kind of undoes the ambiguity of the ending, because you're not really supposed to know what happens next. You're supposed to be sort of left with this sense of, well, things can either go really, really well or really, really horribly, but the reason it stands out is because we don't know and will never know. Until this comes along. Though to be honest, I'm not entirely convinced this project started out as a Watchmen sequel. There are a lot of things in there which seem to exist independently of anything from Watchmen, and seem more like they were perhaps proposed as some sort of original series concept, only to wind up getting worked into this series, which is connected to a popular work that everyone knows and therefore is a safer bet. I mean, like the idea of police wearing masks in order to protect their identities because now there are criminals following police to their homes and getting the drop on them. That's an idea that I don't really think would have made sense within Watchmen, but it's not necessarily a bad idea on its own. That could be interesting. But if that is the case, this could point towards this series being kinda jumbled. Like it's a mishmash of different ideas that had to be put together, whether or not they actually fit together. But that's only how the show partly looks. The other part looks like it was based on the things I know mentality, specifically things I know from Watchmen, because this trailer is filled with all sorts of things that people will recognize, but do they necessarily have the same meaning as they originally did? Do they exist only to be recognized? Look, it's a Rorschach mask! Look, it's a Dr. Manhattan costume! Look, it's a combination of black and yellow. Look, it's Ozymandias' weird tentacle monster. Look, it's a smiley face. I know what all those things are. But in the original work, all of those elements were there for a reason. Each one is handled in such a way that there are layers upon layers upon layers that you can peel back and analyze. And you might wind up discovering something new every time you read it. I don't necessarily know if that'll be true for the series, because all of this stuff is presented in such a way that just screams, hey, do you recognize this? Without really having anything beneath it. I know it's just a trailer, but I mean, sure feels that way. But that's not to say this trailer is presenting only fan service. From the look of this trailer and the trailer which came before, it seems as if HBO's Watchmen is going to be very politically charged. And I know, the original book was also politically charged, but it was politically charged in a way that handled its material with the respect that it deserved. It didn't condescend, it didn't present things as purely one way or the other. It presented the reader with a moral conundrum, basically. With decades worth of superhero comics preceding it, saying that there was a clear delineation between good and evil, Watchmen came along and presented a scenario in which the hero had to do something especially heinous in order to do something ultimately good. Or did he? There's the conundrum. It kind of leaves it up to you to decide whether or not what happens at the end was a good thing or a bad thing. Was it a necessary evil, or was it a pointless maneuver that's only going to make things worse? And again, that plays into the whole idea of how the ending is ambiguous, and creating a sequel kind of misses the point. Based on the trailers we've seen so far, I don't believe for a second this series is going to have that level of ambiguity or subtlety or anything close to balance. It looks like it's pretty well skewed towards a particular point of view, and it might try to make you think that it's presenting multiple sides of the argument, but I don't know. I don't think it's actually gonna happen. Like this bit from the trailer. Do you know how to tell the difference between a masked cop and a vigilante? I don't know. Me neither. In the current political climate, I mean, yeah, you can guess how that could probably go any number of ways that would just spark more controversy than is really needed. And I suppose that might be what's really got me concerned. The superhero genre has been steeped in controversy for a while now, and it's looking like the Watchmen series might be trying to capitalize on that. I don't necessarily know how well it's doing in that regard, because I'm not sure how many people think this series is even a good idea. But given what we've been presented with, I do fear that it's only going to stir the pot and make things worse. I don't know. I hope it doesn't. Knowing the way things usually go, though, it probably will. But for my own part, I just don't think this series looks very good. I might be wrong, but I don't think I am. Well, either way, those are my thoughts on this trailer. Maybe you feel differently? You're free to leave your thoughts on it in the comments section below. I just can't shake the feeling that this is not going to turn out well. Whether or not that's because of grand controversy or just because people wind up railing against the series for existing on principle, I don't see this going especially well. But we will see. Until such time as we meet again, this is the Omni Viewer signing off. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like it as well as subscribe to the channel for more content of a similar nature. Also, check the description for links to our Twitter, DeviantArt, and Patreon pages, as well as the Amazon link for the novel Operation Red Dragon: The Daikaiju Wars Part 1, penned by yours truly. Thank you all, and we appreciate your support.